Keith, Kevon, and Jason, I'm so glad to have this opportunity to talk to you brothers. How are all of you doing today?
Man, I'm doing well. Not bad. Had my cup of coffee. I'm good to go.
Well, all right then. All right.
Yes.
It's really good to hear you all back on the airwaves with new recorded music.
Thank you.
On behalf of Singersroom, I really want to show my appreciation for you guys taking the time out to give us this interview and answer some questions for your fans. And we're all so excited to see you guys back out there. So let's start this thing. Let's get it rolled.
Good deal.
Okay, so I have a first question for Kevon and Keith. After over 25 years of music, what is it like to be back in the studio after taking a little hiatus or whatnot?
You want to go first, Keith? Or what?
Yeah, I'll go first. It was a great opportunity because we haven't collectively been back in the studio together in quite some time, not knowing exactly what we had and what we didn't have. The fact that Melvin was coming back to be a part of it was the most spirited aspect of it all because it gave us what we really call After 7, which is Melvin and Kevon doing their thing as a brother duo.
Right.
So to relive that was an exciting moment of opportunity. But just to be back with the chemistry with Babyface and Daryl, Paul the engineer, that nucleus of what we created back in 1989, that chemistry of those bodies and minds and talent, we didn't know what we were going to get, but we were excited about the opportunity because prior to this, we had no real gut dreams, plans, goals to go back and record in the studio and ever record again. So it was come out of the blue opportunity, but, we're smart enough to understand that, God has a plan that's always way different than the plan that you may have.
Yes, yes.
And it tends to happen on his time and not your time.
That's right.
So I think all of us from a time and place and space in our lives where we thought we controlled stuff, we could plan stuff, we could make stuff happen. But I'm here to tell you that back in July is when we started recording, and prior to July, the only conversations that were had were really with Kevon and Babyface. Prior to that, we had no ambitions, goals, thoughts, prayers, or wishes towards getting back in the studio because we honestly felt like it wasn't going to be possible because of Melvin, and he's been away for so long, and driving, tractor trailer trucks takes a lot out of you over a period of time, but we were pleasantly surprised that he still had what we needed in the studio. So it's just a great thing that God has did his thing again. Outdone us as individuals.
Right. Yeah, he
I
definitely
agree.
did that. Kevon?
Yeah, well, he nailed it. Keith nailed most of it, what it is. So, the only thing I would say is that, having been away for quite some time, I've recorded in between, but, since that time. But recording is it's a live process, and you never really know what you're going to get. And to be away that long and to come back to it, it is always a process. So it's about getting acclimated once again to just like everything else has changed around us industry-wise with regards to how radio is, how many players are in the industry from a record label standpoint to how records are promoted and how quickly they're created as well. So much has changed. In addition to that is what's changed in the studio recording process, and part of that was like they got this thing called auto-tune. It ain't nothing. Everybody's well aware of what that is.
Absolutely.
And many of them use it, but that was not in existence when we started.
Right.
So
it
was definitely a foreign thing. It was a very aggravating thing to try to use, because sometimes people use that thing to speed up the process. But but if you don't know how to sing with it, it's more of a hindrance, and it proved to be a greater hindrance for us than a help. Let me find. I prefer to I'm rusty, so let me just hold my hand up and say, everybody in here who's rusty, just raise your hand, and that would probably be everybody in there. Because singing live on stage is different than how accurate you have to be when you're in the studio. You don't get to get away with any flat notes, or the words fall off. They need to understand what it is you're saying. And so that process of trying to learn how to utilize that tool was very aggravating, but as time went on, we adjusted a little better. I'm not as good as some folks are, and probably never will be, because it's just not what I rely on. To get through it. So, but that was a whole nother kind of game once we stepped into the studio this time around.
Absolutely, and when you have a great voice, you don't need auto-tune, but I understand what people are doing in the studios these days, and what's become standard, which I don't know, in my opinion, should probably never be standard. However, it is what it is. It
is however expedient in many circumstance situations for folks. So that's
gotcha.
What's going on with it. Yeah.
Okay, well, to my brother Jason, what's going on, Jason? How you doing?
Oh, good, man. How are you?
What was the process, and what was your experience filling your father Melvin's shoes and blending right in? That's the first question I have. I have another one for you, but talk to me. What was that experience like, and how did that come about?
Well, it was a process of I would say probably unintentional grooming. Because I started out first being just an admirer of the group and hearing their songs on the radio back home in Indianapolis as a young kid, and then getting the opportunity to go on tour and catching them live. I think that first tour, that was that Whitney guys, or was that the MC Hammer tour? I can't remember.
It had to be Whitney. It had to be Whitney. It wouldn't have been MC Hammer.
Right. So I don't remember, but it was definitely the Whitney tour, and being there and seeing them live and kind of cutting your teeth that way, you know what I mean, and then turn to a few years later having the opportunity to sing background for Kevon throughout his solo career, and then kind of weaving into a third member position, and then ultimately taking some of my dad's parts bit by bit, and then finally filling the roles there, that voice in the group. And I tell you what, man, it's been exciting and a blessing all at the same time. I couldn't have asked for a better scenario for myself.
Sure, absolutely, and it's exciting. Again, I'll say this again, just to hear you guys back out there, and man, you're not missing a beat, Jason. Like you, it's like it's like after 7. So, we appreciate your talent,
appreciate
man,
that.
and God-given talent. Yeah. My next question for you is, was music ever anything that you wanted to pursue early? In watching all of this growing up, or like, what was it something that you were interested in, or did you just fall into?
Oh,
it? You
yeah.
didn't answer that, but. Mm-hmm.
No. Music was ingrained into my DNA, I believe. My first recollection of being of knowing that I was musical was my dad asking me to sing out on the porch one morning, and I sang "Tomorrow" by Commission.
Wow!
And that was like the
first
time I remember my dad giving me a vocalist critiquing, and I tell you, from then on, always knew I was going to be in music in some capacity. I just didn't really know how. And, you know, I had a love for songwriting and producing, and so I went into that for a while. And now being in management, you know, also, too, keeps me in music as well. So I think I was one of those guys that no matter what I did, it was going to be in and around music in some way whatsoever, you know.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, everybody at the time was talking about, and people are still talking about the performance at the Soul Train Awards when you guys were alongside Jasmine Sullivan, honoring Babyface, and what a great, well-deserved honor that was for Babyface. But people witnessed this performance and was literally blown away. Like you know, like, wow, like this is After 7. You know what I mean? People of the know. Can you guys elaborate on that experience? And did you guys see the same push that we saw? Like, oh my God, we need these guys. You know?
Well, this is Keith. I think from being up on stage and looking out into the audience, I mean, it was a quick, you know, little 2 minutes of time in the performance, but to see the crowd and the entire arena stand up when we approached the performance area was a moving feeling and a proud feeling, too, because to see Babyface in L.A. sitting there, standing up, applauding us, knowing that that's the cocoon we came out of, you know, we're making them proud. They've made us, they put us in a position to be, you know, somewhat relevant today and have a career in music. So it was an aesthetic, awesome, exciting feeling, that moment, to share that night and be a part of that agenda with a tribute to Babyface. And, of course, to perform with Jasmine, who has made Ready or Not a new household word.
Right.
In the form of Burn, Let It Burn.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if anybody else wants to expound on that.
Let me see. This is Kevon. We didn't know that our silver suits worked that good with the background. But, you know, who knew? Who knew, right? It worked out, you know. We just try to come out there and do what it is that we do, whether it's for TV or whether it's for a live performance, be that a track show or with band. We just know to give it our all, to leave it all out there on stage, and all you can do is your best, and that's what we do and make an effort to do every time we have an appearance, wherever, whenever. So for folks who didn't know who we were, and for those who were familiar with us, it gave them a quick snapshot of who we are if they didn't know, and maybe rekindled some pleasant memories of the act, to see us in like you said, 2 minutes and maybe 15 seconds of take you back when, and make you remember what it was. So that was a memorable moment, and it's all about moments. So I think for that moment for us, it was a moment to shine. It was really special to connect the dots with an artist who is really relevant and current today, who is a super talent as well. And because she did her thing, and it was the first time I really got a chance to see her perform live as well. So we all are fans of Jasmine Sullivan, not only her vocal ability, but her ability to put on paper what she wants to express, and she does it very well. So it was a moment in time for us.
Wow. With that said, I mean, this new single, I Want You, which, we're talking about Babyface and production and you guys and your voices, and oh my God, it's like, what was the inspiration? Because this single's hot, like it's hot. So, what made it happen?
You know, I think it was a time element. I think there was a time element factor here. I mean, we're watching the music scene,
right?
And we're watching some things change as a result, and this record that Kenny was creating for himself was such a monster in terms of giving you just some good old pure R&B again.
Right.
Right. There was an excitement around that as well, but we realized that you only got a finite set of moments.
Right. Right.
And you have to create an opportunity when you see one, if you can. And I think that's kind of where we were. Kenny and I talked about, there's always, oftentimes I come out here and on his show, maybe during the medley, I might come out and we do a little brother exchange toward the end of the show, and it's always it's just a good energy. The crowd always appreciates, the crowd appreciates family. Anytime family is out there, we as black folks, we are family.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We have such a strong sense of family. So when we see family, the Jacksons, the Silvers, the Braxtons, it's a good feeling. It just brings a good feeling. So we thought that, hey, if that's what we do when you come out and do something like this, what would it be if we would create a record and we both had music out at the same time, and maybe try to put together, see if we can create enough interest in seeing us packaged together, which was like, whoa. For the first time, we always thought we should tour Babyface, but that thing never happened. And so right now, here we are at this stage in our careers, and I'm not saying that definitively, but hey, we're setting things in place, and everything is a process, and maybe by the end of this process, it may turn out that may be something that comes to fruition. I think it would be apropos after all these years, quite honestly.
Yeah, and it's so well accepted, and as you said, it's timing, because as you said earlier that you all are watching what's going on in music, and to be honest, what's missing is the real soulful music, and so we're watching too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why
right.
That's why this is so very important. And y'all brought it again with this one. Man, I want you. It's a big welcome back from all of your fans out there. Big welcome.
Thank you. I could thank you so much. There's more to come. It is an exciting time, and I think there's a window.
It really is.
And we want to make the most, the best use of this time and this opportunity, and by putting together a quality record. We thought starting out that we could go release a single and just test the waters and see what was going on and just kind of see. But each time we, made some inroads with potential labels, they shut our little dream down about throwing some singles. I said, no, you don't get to do that. You can't do that. Your fan base is expecting an album. They want value, so you can't come drop a single and think that's going to get it done. You have to do an album. And so that shifted. It made us have to adapt to the what the expectation was.
Sure.
And because the thing was, how were we to know that, we've been doing our thing out here, maybe not on the radar, but how could we know that anyone would be interested beyond, a single? We didn't know. So that was the first thing that kind of got us up to speed as to what we needed to do. But I think we've always, part of why we never recorded again is if we couldn't have all the elements together. The elements, and not just talking about the group, members, but also because there's magic in what we do when we work with Daryl Simmons and Babyface.
Yeah,
there's something there. Yeah. There's a familiar and very familiar connectivity.
It goes back to
that
family.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a connectivity where right. We go hard when we're in the studio, but we also we play hard. We keep it light when it needs to be light. We get serious when it's time to get serious. And, we critique till we know that it's right. And that's a system, a process that they've developed over years, and that and you couldn't do any of this without a real trust. And so that's what we have right there between us. So trying to go create this kind of magic with some other producers without laying the foundation first, like with a Babyface and Daryl Simmons and what comes out of that camp, I don't know if we would get there. But because that's not to say that they're going to do the entire project. But what I do know is that they set the tone, which is what we always like to do, is have them set the tone.
Sure.
And lastly, we never wanted to come out here and create a record that would fall short of what we have created in the past, our body of work. We never wanted to do anything that was going to marginalize our catalog. This is a record I can confidently say I already know going in I'm going to be proud of, because I know that we're in the right space.
Right.
We're headed in the right direction. And it's going to be special because we're not going to settle for anything less than that right now. I mean, who gets to come back after 20 years and do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And be relevant. So with that, we're not going to play. Ain't no playing.
Hey, man, y'all ain't never played, man. Let's just keep it 100. Y'all ain't never played with nothing, man. Yeah, I'd like for all of you guys, each of you guys, to answer this question individually, if you would. And that question is, as we're talking, what's your take on the current state of the music, R&B music, and the industry? More importantly, as well, the future of R&B.
My hope is that that this perception that R&B was on life support for some time is that there's a shifting going on.
Okay.
And that there is yet again opportunity for real music to find its way back to radio and back to its fans in R&B in a matter of resurgence, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the romance that R&B was built on disappeared.
Right.
It's disappeared over the years.
Exactly.
And I think that when you get an opportunity like we have to reintroduce, when you like with Tank, with Tyrese, with there Stokely and Mint Condition, when you still have folks who still believe in the romance and the love and the messaging, which is critical, to how people relate to and appreciate your music, then there's still a shot. But you notice those that are doing that, a lot of them are kind of, the old school is still, it's the old school, if you will. I guess after 25 years, I guess we got to call ourselves old school. Because we wasn't old school when we came out. That's all I know. But anyway, here we are. We was whatever they called. They threw us in this New Jack Swing thing or whatever. But we were always influenced by those groups of the 60s, and those were real songs.
Sure.
And those songs from the 60s, guess what? They still play today. But here's the greatest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
R&B music can live, and it could even thrive. But in our genre of music, for R&B, urban adult contemporary music, it needs, if it is to survive, it does need the support of its fans.
Absolutely. Yes.
We it's not just I like it. You support it.
Yes.
You gotta, and it's not. I'm glad for you to come out and catch a live show, because I love giving that to you.
Sure.
But you also gotta buy the product. If you don't buy the product, in the industry, in the industry, they look at that as it is dying. Now, guess what ain't dying? Christian music ain't dying. That's second only to country music.
Yeah.
They support. They're not trying to figure out how to get it on the low, and they're not trying that. They are straight out. I love what you're singing. I love what you do. I'm going to support you. Yeah. And that's what we have to have. I mean, I know we don't touch everybody, but we 13, 14% of the population in this country. Now, absolutely. I don't expect everybody, but we have to let our artists know that you appreciate them by being real with it, by buying their music. You got to buy the music. You just can't wait to see when you're going to get it for free. You have to be willing to commit, because we're committing ourselves. It could be, we could be trying to, I'm in Nashville. I could be, I could be trying to scoot a little bit over here and, new little bad little chick, little sister who sings country, Mickey Guyton. She ain't no joke. I could be maybe trying to lean that way, but that's not who I am. That's not where I'm from. I'm from R&B, and so I'm still going to give you R&B. Right. I'm going to give you everything. Right. I'm going to give you everything I got. I just, give some back, because if you don't, R&B will be something of the past. That's how I see it. And I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes.
No, absolutely.
Well,
I'm sorry.
As my baby brother say, keeping it 100.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
And
well, this is Keith. I got to add my 2 cents from you too.
I'm done.
Go ahead. Who is this?
That was Keith. Keith said he needs to add his 2 cents in there too.
Come on with it, man.
Well, all I was going to say is there is an obligation on the fans' part, but there's also, we've had throngs of people come up to us and say, y'all going to record, y'all going to record, y'all going to record, y'all going to record. So we go out and we record, but we also need the support of Black radio to recognize that if you want more R&B music to surface and you don't want to kill it, you have to do your part to make sure you open up the lanes for new R&B music to be heard by African American artists.
Right.
And I understand that, the only outlets, Top 40 is not really playing R&B music anymore. Right. Unless you're of a particular color.
Stature. Mainstream.
Yeah. Mainstream. They're not playing R&B music, so it makes it extremely difficult for all the artists that come back to the marketplace from the 80s or the 90s and try to step back in the game here in the 2000s, and there's only 15, 11, 12 songs on a playlist because the stations that have been keeping the presence of R&B alive are oldie stations predominantly, and they play old R&B music, and that is the signature of those stations, so they have to keep playing that R&B music to keep their fan base, but it limits new music slots.
Yes.
And so the rotation of music in and music out on the R&B scene is so small, and this is the part that the fans don't understand.
Right.
We as artists want to come back and we want to go in, and now technology has made it so easy for us to record, but in order for us to deliver our products to you with the social media and the technology, you add that still with the fact that R&B radio can't give us 20 slots. Even if they gave us 20 out of 40 or 20 out of 30, then you can see a resurgence of R&B music. But the platform has got to be there for the music to be supported and to be heard, and that's black radio, R&B. You know, so I mean, we're artists are slightly in a quagmire. Being able to give you, we can only do our part is to record it and to try to support it as best we can, but we need black radio to take our hand and recognize that they need us and we need them, and let's partner up and let's make this happen.
Yeah. You know, and I'm going to say one other thing, and Jason, I'm sure that you want us to answer this question too. Is it the chicken? Who came first, the chicken or the egg? Which one is it? Because you need them both. Because you need more. You need to get more airtime, so that people will know that the music is real. And labels, they have to go to radio with the money makers, those who move units. Well, so that's mainstream and a hip-hop genre of music. That's what sells. So that's what they're going to bombard radio with if and when they can. Because if you take a look at the numbers that sell in the urban adult contemporary lane, it's minuscule compared. So they have to buy. They have to. If they don't buy, they don't think that's big business, and they are in the business of making money.
Yeah.
They make stars so they can make money.
Right.
That's their business. And so you gotta, it's gotta work both ways. We gotta support. You know, I could say it's radio. I could say it's a multi-pronged issue, I think, that we face right now. So, you know, and hopefully, you know, all the folks that you know got them deep pockets. You tell them going out there and do what they're supposed to do. You know,
they need to do it. Yeah, you know, I'm saying, man. I mean, because we need it, you know. And Jason, let me give you the opportunity to speak on this.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm getting my thoughts together.
Yeah, it's okay, Frank.
No, he had his phone muted. It takes a second to mute off.
No.
Okay.
I didn't. I'm gonna tell you what I was doing. Because let me tell you, to find something to say after those two statements, I'm gonna tell you I have to go back and do some research.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
So, I'm literally looking at Billboard Hot 100 R&B right now.
Right.
And what's interesting is that there's really only 3 actual R&B songs in the top 20. The rest are hip hop.
Right.
And let me tell you, what I find interesting is that the market, being in its current state, let's call it very, very saturated. Some say it's oversaturated, but that gives a negative connotation. On the positive note, what's happening in the market is that because there's so many people doing it and going after a musical career, and you can do it basically from home today. You can release songs. If you've got radio connections, you can go to some radio outlets. You know, you can release music at any point in time today in today's time. Mm-hmm. What that's done is it's caused those that are truly special to rise. Let's say the cream rises to the top. And, and I'll say this, and I'm not stroking any kind of ego because I don't have any, but to be number 14 after releasing a single after 25 years says a little bit of something about cream, if this is okay for me to say that. And I'll say this also, what the market has done is it's caused you to be real and come correct and be authentic in the music. And the person has to match the songs that they're singing. And I think that's a part of development that's missing in today's music, and full development of artists that's missing because artists aren't taking the time to embody the lyrics and the message that they're actually trying to sell. After Seven has stayed true to who they are, both lyrically and, you know, in their presence. There is a marriage between the two. And I think when you do that and it's real and authentic, the cream will rise to the top, and I think I'll just stop it right there.
Okay.
Young blood. That's well stated. Well stated.
Absolutely.
That was well said.
Yeah. And I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, very well stated. And we're so looking forward to more music, the album. Where are you guys at in that? Do you have any idea of where and when this album's going to drop?
That is top secret, Carl. No.
Okay.
No. I'm teasing.
I mean clearance.
Again, I would like to tell you a time and say that that's when I could tell you that if it was complete, but the creative process is a fickle animal.
Sure.
Sometimes, and as much as you want to get things done in a certain amount of time, sometimes it doesn't happen that way. I do believe that we are so passionate and so appreciative of where we are and the opportunity that is before us that we find ourselves doing things I never imagined us knocking songs out in the time that we'd knock them out today. Because it didn't happen that way back in the day. And that's not an auto-tune thing. That is growth.
Right.
That's growth where you know who you are. You know who you are. You know what it is. Like Keith, you said in another interview. You know you carry the rocks, and so carries the pail, and somebody grabs the water. You know what your area is, and so when you know what your lane is today, after 25 years, then give me a great track and some melody. Oh, then then we're off to the races. But I never imagined it like that. Some folks go in there and knock them out, boom, 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 and so it didn't happen that way in the beginning. It was because we were babes. We were babies, kind of learning in the studio. Even though we had sung in the studio, to get in here and create an album that's getting ready to go to the radio. Well, that's a whole nother level of professional expectation that's put on the table for you. So you got to make sure that it's right, because it's the first time they're about to hear a whole brand new group. So it was a different kind of pacing. Today is different than that. So my hope is that before the year 2016, we're going to have some fresh new baby-making music for our listeners. And, even if you don't want to make no babies, you can at least practice.
Right,
anyway,
rub it.
You know what I'm saying?
You can rub on something. Right, okay. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So I do actually, and I missed this question, but demographics as it relates to the music and airplay, but what does demographics mean to the sustenance of R&B music today? Can these kids, in other words, can these kids, you understand, can they get it? Will they get it?
Yeah, Jason. Young William.
Yeah, I think they will. And the reason why is because, as long as there's love, I think you'll have to find unique ways of expressing it. And contrary to what might be the largest group, whether that be hip-hop fans or pop fans or whatever it is, everybody doesn't express emotions the same way. And so R&B will always have a place, because there are some people who express themselves in the way R&B music does. It may have decreased, I think, over the last 20 years. Obviously, we see evidence of that. But just like everything was once old, it will be new again. And kids will find their way back to it. And they're just going to express it. They're going to express it a little differently. It won't be the same R&B as that we grew up on. But it will be R&B in its new form, and it'll be beautiful when it happens.
We're glad to have you all back. I mean, you really don't know, and We're just really ready to just see what's to come. I'm looking forward to it. And again, you know, we appreciate your God-given gift in song here at Singersroom. Kevon Edmonds, we appreciate you, brother, for taking the time out for this interview. So looking forward to what's in store. Keith Mitchell as well.
Yes, sir.
Love you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Jason, man, keep him in it. You hear me? Yo, keep him in it, brother. You hear me, man? Straight up. And,
all right.
And give your pops love, yeah? Straight up, man.
I will. I certainly will, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and again, on behalf of Singersroom, we appreciate you guys taking the time out really to answer these questions that we had, and we're ready for you. So keep us posted on what you guys got coming in, and you know, definitely when the album's getting closer and closer. All right.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carl.
Thank you.
We appreciate you as well. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. God bless the Singersroom too. All righty.
God bless you all.